Yesterday, I wrote a blog post that explains something called the Tioga Report. No, Tioga is not an acronym, it's actually the name of a consulting firm that's been around for a while called the Tioga Group out of Pennsylvania. And it's headed by a guy named Stephen Neiman. Anyway, the Tioga Group was retained by Pat Cashman, who was a consulting economic development specialist a long time when for the city of Oakland, an economic development analyst. Actually, Pat Cashman hired me to be an intern for the city of Oakland Office of Economic Development and Employment, as it was called then. This was in 1987. Pat and I are still friends to this day, but I digress. It was Pat who wrote the request for proposal for a consultant to analyze the market for what is called now the Oakland Bulk and Oversized Terminal, and Phil Tagami, its developer, and California Capital Investment Group's ability to pull it off, to build it, right? That was originally in 2011 when the contract was struck and the documents and the work that Mr. Neiman did started in earnest in 2012. The blog post that I put up has that report, and it takes specific note of the commodities market, and the part that I installed there, as well as it takes a very deep and long look. Well, not a very deep and long look, but a look, okay? Not a deep and long look, but a look at Phil's ability to pull it off, and expresses some doubt. It set a bar that Phil, in working with Inside Terminal Solutions now, and then originally Kinder Morgan, which he fired Kinder Morgan because they didn't want to use covered rail cars, okay? Covered rail cars assure the delivery of coal without pollutants going all over the place. And he was insistent on that, Phil was, and Kinder Morgan resisted, so he said, I'll find someone else, and he found Inside Terminal Solutions, headed by John Siegel. So, and anyway, the politics at the time said nothing about having a facility that didn't handle a certain type of commodity like coal. That was 2000. And not only that, the idea of a bulk terminal had been a gleam in the eye of a number of port planners and port supporters as far back as I can remember, going all the way back to 1990. So Phil was one of them. And then later Phil was on the Port Commission starting in 1999. And so Phil saw the other proposals for this, what was to be a replacement for the Army base, Oakland Army base, and realized they were all offices and nothing that produced solid jobs, and he opted for one that would, and that is a logistics center, and one that in a bulk terminal. And he spent years planning at getting a $242 million grant from the state of California, a number of great works that Phil has done over that period of time. It wasn't until 2014, in the election of Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, that the politics really turned, because Mayor Schaaf had befriended Tom Steyer, went to the Paris meetings. Well, at first with Jerry Brown, but I believe met Tom Steyer during that time, and make a long story short, partner with him, and Tom has put over $500,000 into projects that the mayor favored, most notably the Oakland Promise. The Daily Caller, a conservative blog, admittedly, says that, or alleges that Tom Steyer made a sort of a deal with Mayor Schaaf, such that he, as part of their business relationship, which cost him to spend a great deal of money, he would also, would get the city of Oakland's city attorney to establish or be part of a group that established a lawsuit that sued the large oil companies for causing climate change. Well, they lost the lawsuit. Uh, but that the Tom Steyer spent $120 million basically on climate change related legislation in politics. Okay, and he's still spending the money today, as you know, because he's running for president. But in the process, Tom Steyer has altered the economic development path of Oakland such that the Oakland bulk and oversized terminal project has been stalled for the most part. And Phil has challenged the city of Oakland's coal ban. He has challenged their lethargy in working on this twice in court and won in both times. Well, won the first time, the second time is a bit tied up, but Phil will prevail. Okay. So I just want to let you know what's happening with that. And in the process, what hangs in the balance are thousands of homeless people who need basic jobs. And Oakland has not focused its economic development effort on providing those jobs. Very shameful. Please, I beg of you to read what I wrote. There's another part of it coming. And subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube.